CBS News White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is joining us now from the White House. All right, so Weijia, we've been talking all morning long about the mixed messaging from the administration, both on the rationale for this war and the end game. I want to play a little bit of what President Trump and the Secretary of State have said about the justifications for this operation.
The regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas.
We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties.
So that was really interesting to hear Marco Rubio suggesting that, Weijia. And what it appears to be, and this is what you're starting to see from supporters of the President of the United States within the larger MAGA sphere, is that it sounds as if what Marco Rubio is saying, which is that a smaller country, an ally of the United States, which relies on the United States weapons and money, was planning on attacking Iran. And so our interests were subordinate to the interests of Israel. And so I wonder if the president has been able to unwind that, even though it belies, of course, the fact that there's no way that the Israelis would have attacked Iran if the president of the United States did not give the green light. So we should just also point that out, that they would not act unilaterally. The United States would have had to agree to whatever military action that Israel was going to take on this scale.
Vlad, you really nailed it and really put into clear terms the administration's rationale for launching these strikes. And it's really important to try to unpack, as you just did, what Secretary Rubio said yesterday, which was new information. Now, remember, on Saturday night, shortly after the initial strikes, senior administration officials told CBS News that a main reason why the president decided to go now was because there was a short-term and imminent threat to the U.S. and that Iran was going to preemptively strike American targets as the president continued to negotiate and kept military options on the table. And we now know more about what that imminent threat is, according to the administration. So Rubio yesterday said, we knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. So you're absolutely right, Vlad. But to your other point, it does appear that Israel was going to attack Iran, that either the U.S. greenlit that or found that it was unavoidable. And the president himself hasn't spoken since we heard this from Rubio. But for the first time, Vlad, since these strikes unfolded, we will see the president in a setting where reporters can ask him questions, because he is about to welcome the Chancellor of Germany here to the White House in just under an hour. And believe it or not, he hasn't taken any questions on camera from reporters since he launched this strike. So this is a critical opportunity for our colleagues to be asking some of these questions for clarification, because we know yesterday, even though the president spoke at length about his objectives, again, he did not take any questions.
Yeah, Weijia, that's going to be a really important moment. I'm going to be watching the Dow during that for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Weijia.